Before you invest a single rupee, watch this video. If you lose your job tomorrow, how many months do you think you can survive without your paycheck? Most people earning 50,000 to 1 lakh per month do not have an answer for this. So that's why you are just one emergency away from debt. In India, we are obsessed with investing in stocks, crypto and mutual funds and whatnot. But we ignore the most basic and most important thing. That is nothing but emergency fund. The result of not investing in emergency fund, one emergency hospital bill and one job loss, and that's it. Your financial stability collapses. I am Rajesh and I am a chartered accountant, and I will explain you today what emergency means and common mistakes everyone does while investing in emergency fund. Let's get into the video. First of all, what is an emergency fund? Before I start explaining what an emergency fund, you have to understand one thing. Emergency fund is not an investment. It is the money that is kept separately for emergency or bad situations or unexpected situations. Think of it like a financial oxygen cylinder. So that is the brief explanation of what an emergency fund is. Many people have this doubt of how many months of emergency I will be needing. I have divided this into different sections of people because emergency fund is not the same for all the people. You might be working, you might be in a business, you might be a freelancer. The emergency fund requirement is not the same for all of them. For example, if you take a salaried employee, if he loses a job, he might find another job in a 3 to 4 months, right? In case you are a salaried employee, your minimum emergency fund should be around 3 to 4 months. Let's take 3 months as minimum and 6 months as ideal emergency fund. Let's understand this with an example. For example, you're making 1 lakh per month and now you have a doubt, how much should I save for the emergency fund? So think of it like this. If you are getting 1 lakh per month, what is the amount that you need to survive the month? That means your expenses on your rent, your food, your groceries, your EMIs, everything put together, that is an emergency amount that you need to survive the month. The thing you have to do is calculate that amount and keep 3 months of it as a minimum emergency fund. That's how you calculate in case you are a salaried employee. For freelancers and business people, it should be around 9 to 12 months. Many people argue that you have to save your entire month's salary as an emergency fund. I don't agree with that because the fund should solely be for survival. You have to survive in case of an unexpected event. So my calculation is, if you earn 1 lakh and your expenses for the month is 70,000, you have to save 70,000, not 1 lakh. So 70,000 into 3 months is 2,10,000 for a minimum emergency fund. Ideally, you should keep 6 months of emergency fund if you're a salaried employee. Now we know how many months we need to plan our emergency fund. We should understand where should we keep this. Before starting this, I want to clearly tell you all that emergency fund is for safety, not for growth. So you have to keep it in a place where you can withdraw it instantly. For example, if you keep them in stocks, mutual funds and other crypto, like these risky funds, they won't be useful to you at the time when you need them the most. You might think the market is very down, I cannot take it out. You should always choose something like FDs or liquid funds only. There is something called sweep FD where if you set a limit for your balance, whenever you get any additional money over that balance, the amount will automatically go to an FD. That is called sweep FD. You can keep there also. And another important thing, do not put your emergency fund in stocks or crypto. They are highly risky. Let's talk practically how to build an emergency fund in a practical manner. You just joined a job and your salary is some 50,000. Let's assume your salary is 50,000 rupees. You do one thing, you start slowly inserting the money into an emergency fund, 10,000 per month as an emergency fund every month, so that when you reach your target of 3 months or 6 months, you can stop and you can start your SIP journey. Most of the people do this. So whenever you start small, build 50,000 rupees first, then 1 lakh, then you go to your 2,10,000 target. That's how you fill 3 months and 6 months targets, and then you start your SIPs. Let's talk about the common mistake everyone does while investing in emergency fund. One thing is they always try to get something in return from the emergency fund. You have to understand that emergency fund is not for the growth, it is for your own safety. So do not expect much returns from the emergency fund. Some people say that I have a credit card, I can spend and I can get out of this situation. No, if you use your credit card, you have to pay that back the next month. Otherwise, you have to pay heavy interest on your amount. So that is another mistake. And the third mistake is stopping your emergency fund midway, because many people targets for 6 months, they stop at 2 months, and at the end they will struggle. So that is a big mistake that you should not do. And people might think emergency fund as savings. No, it's not. Emergency fund is a separate fund which can be used only in case of emergencies. So do not mix them up with your savings. So the conclusion is, if you're starting with your new job today, plan your emergency fund and start creating an emergency fund. If you're already in job, check your emergency fund, calculate your expenses, set a target, and check if you're actually meeting the target. So that's it for the video. I am Rajesh Pirada. I'm a chartered accountant. If you have any doubts, please comment below. Thank you so much for watching our video.